Yo, welcome back, guys. So Everquest released a development roadmap for 2023 this year. They did one of these last year, and they're doing it again this year. I think these are really good that they're communicating with the players, even if you don't necessarily like what's on the roadmap. All right, so let's talk about what they did last year first before we get into what they did this year. They had the Community Resource Council came to fruition. So basically, if they hired a bunch of players to act as no-pay interns, and you do research and you give feedback to the devs for free. So if you got onto that team, y'all got suckered. But yeah, they have some people who apparently are giving feedback to devs, but they're not paying them. Not paying them anything. Maybe they'll pay you in like iron rations or something. All right, so 64-bit upgrades came to servers and clients. This is honestly the best thing they did this year. This is like good for longevity of the game. In my opinion, this is like the biggest change of the year. Even though it's not like anything exciting, it's really good. It's something that needed to be done. They had its 23rd year anniversary celebration. Okay, just another year. Many holiday in-game events. To me, that's not a development roadmap. Those should not even be included on this. I think those are just temporary events that nobody cares about. Like, who cares? Some people might like doing it, but for the most part, it's not noteworthy. I personally don't do any of them. Unless I can get a tangible reward, I don't care. I want the loot. Give me the loot. They had new progression servers. So Yelnat came out, which is doing fine. That one's doing good. It's just a standard TLP. And then Vaniki came out, which I declared would be dead on arrival. And for the most part, it just died out really fast because nobody wants to play a hard game that's really old and everybody's done it 1,000 times. Like, it's not... Like, the game is, like, if people have played it a lot, making it harder doesn't make it more fun. So obviously the server's basically dead now. Here we are in January, and there's hardly anybody doing anything over there for the most part, other than a little bit in the very beginning. I hope they don't come out with some weird, crazy. Like I said, I thought it was like a meme server, and it basically is. This is like a meme private server rule set. All right, so they had new classic achievements. And I said this on my last video that I think classic achievements are fine. I think that's good that they put them in, but there needs to be rewards for them. There's no rewards for these classic achievements. I did a few of them. And they were super, super tedious to like. I'm like, there's a bunch of them. It's like, I'm not going to do all these unless I'm getting something out of it. Give me a bag. Give me an illusion. Give me something. Give me something that's like worth the time I put into it for doing these. And I think across the board, achievements should be that way. There's a lot of achievements you don't get anything for them. You don't need one for every achievement, right? But there are, if you're going to come out with a whole new batch of achievements in the classic era, which basically there's no reason to do those. The classic is so old that why would I do these unless I'm getting something out of it? So I'd like to see them add rewards to these achievements to increase player participation. And then they did the heroic character update, which basically you can now pick between a level 85 heroic character or a level 100. That's the new one, is level 100, and you can pick either or. And that needed to be done a few years ago, if not longer. So I'm glad that they finally came out with this new heroic, the new level 100. That was actually an awesome change. An unbelievable and very humbling extra life response. Okay, so they had a fundraiser where they said, give us money and we'll give you XP. And so then November of last year, it was like crazy XP going all over the place. Everybody's leveling everything up. Last but not least, the launch of Night of Shadows. So they had a new expansion last year. Okay, so they had that every year basically. All right, so let's talk about what they're going to do in 2023. January, Night of Shadow Tier 1 raids unlocked. So the 3 new raids coming out. February, new content for your OC Day. Like holiday events, don't care. I consider this not a note at all. Night of Shadow Tier 2 raids unlocked. So if you play on live, there's going to be some new raids. March, there's going to be Tier 3 raids will unlock. Content for Brew Day, again, I don't care about that. 24th anniversary celebration, new quests and a mission. That is actually, usually they have some type of nice reward with the anniversary quest every year. So that's kind of notable, but I wouldn't necessarily consider that a development roadmap. It's just something that they're already doing, and it's not like an improvement or a change in the game. It's just something that happens every year. So honestly, to me, as a TLP server from January to March, nothing is happening other than whatever they happen to put in the patch notes. April, new UI engine initial launch, full engine launch to come with some of the Windows ported to the new engine. All right, so they're going to have the new UI engine come out, which they did announce last year that they were going to be doing that in the future. And I would like to know exactly. I would like to me. This is really good. Let me just state this is really good. I would like to see a visual upgrade to the UI. Honestly, like the UI itself, it's not like unfunctional. It's actually pretty functional. You can do a lot with it. It's just really ugly and it doesn't attract new players. And unless you're like a veteran player and you know all the little quirks of the UI, it can be hard to figure out how to set your UI up in a way that you want it. I hope they make it simpler and more flexible. Make it look more modern, because if a new player comes in, they see this old clunky UI, they just laugh and log out. So hopefully there's like nice visual upgrades and more customization that's simpler to change. All right, so May, new content for Tempest Festival. I don't care about Tempest Festival. It doesn't matter to me. New progression server, rule set to be announced. This is a big one, at least for me as a TLP server. So if you guys don't know, I mainly play on Agnar, and I'm burnt out of it. There's nothing I haven't done. I beat all the content. I've been playing on it for years. I would like to see a new lock server come out, because number one, they don't come out. Like, Agnar was the last lock server, if I remember correctly, and that was in 2017, I believe that came out. It's like 5 or 6 years old now, and a lot of people say, hey, let's come out with the Omens of War server. Omens of War is going to be so good. It's got the 2.0 epic. Oh man, I can't wait. You don't want an Omens of War server. If you're asking for a locked Omens of War server, you have not played Omens of War for very long. It's not it's not going to last a long time. The reason why Agnar is still successful, and if you don't play on Agnar, you might go, oh, Agnar's not successful. There's only a couple people playing over it. It's actually got 4 guilds still rating on Agnar, and it's 5 years old, which is a lot better than most guilds. And the reason why a lot of people go back and play the same raid over and over, which is Plane of Time, is because Plane of Time is number one, it's easy. No one's going to do a hard raid for 5 years. It's not fun. And number two, you get tons and tons of loot for how much time and effort you put in. Like, it's super easy raid zone, and just like, this is loot dropping all over the place. And also, it's aesthetically pleasing. Anguish is like the complete opposite of that. Anguish is like, it's really boring to look at, and you don't get as much loot. It's just a really, the aesthetic is really bad. The whole zones is brown, and it just does not last as long as something like Plane of Time would. And I don't think there's many raids that can compete with Plane of Time in terms of reward versus effort. Like, Plane of Time is off the charts for how much loot you get. But if you're going to lock something at level 70, number one, unlock all the expansions at that level. So if you pick level 70, or you pick level 75, or level 80, whatever the level cap you pick is, just unlock everything for that level. Like if Agnar had Gates of Discord unlocked, that would be sweet. You get more stuff to choose from, and you can still raid Plane of Time for like the clickies and stuff. It might be a little bit more fun to do something like that, but that might be in hindsight after playing on Agnar for 5 years. But whatever they pick to lock a server at, if they decide to do this type of rule set, is pick a expansion where the raids aren't that hard and you get tons of loot, because that's what keeps people coming back. If the raid's really hard, your end game, or there's not much loot dropping, nobody's going to do it over and over and over. It's like, nobody wants to do it. They need to pick a server where you get a lot of loot, and it's easy to like bring alts in and stuff like that too, to keep it going for a long period of time. Alts are like super important to a locked server, because once you max out your main character, what do when you make alts? So you have to be able to easily bring alts in to whatever raid you're going to lock the server at. All right, so June, new Pride Month familiars. I don't give a shit about familiars. Like, who cares? It's not content. It's just like either something you claim, or it's something that comes out of the Daybreak store that you pay money for. Server merging Cornap, the Vox, okay. New content for Stone Cold Summer. All right, so nothing's happening in August. This is going to be hot. Man, they might as well just put, it's going to be hot, stay hydrated, it's August. September does not exist. There's no such thing. They must have left that in the 32-bit version of the game. because we're going straight to October here. 2023 expansion beta plus pre-order. Well, you haven't done anything for 2 months, so you have a lot of money saved. So make sure you pre-order the new expansion before you know what it's about. That way, Daybreak can get all your money, even if the expansion's not very good. DirectX 11 API port. Okay, that's good. We're going to be on DirectX 11. November, they're going to do another Give Us Money, We'll Give You Experience event. And then there's going to be new content for Feast of Giving. Again, that's not a footnote. December, more stuff. It's not a footnote. And then the expansion is going to come out. Their 30th expansion. Woo, 30th expansion. So honestly, I want to see like a quality of life expansion. Like I'm tired of all these copy and paste expansions. If you play on live, like you probably want a new expansion. I get it, but they need to figure out some type of way to have like a huge quality of life update where they just. I would pay for it. Like I would pay for it as an expansion. Take all the bloat out the game. Make it easier for new players to come in. I think the UI is a step in that direction, but they need to make it easy to get to max level so people can play with like the current players. Like nobody plays under leveled anymore. There's like the game's dead from 1 to 110 probably on live. So, and then once you hit 110, you hit like an experience roadblock where you can't. It's really hard to get the last 10 levels as a new player. Either you don't know anybody, or you can't box it, or you can't solo it with a merc. You got to like get this whole box army out, start boxing all these characters. Like it gets insane. Like nobody wants to have like 5 or 6 EQs playing just to play the game. New players, I'm just gonna leave. They're just gonna bail out. So right now the game's set up so only veteran players are really interested. If you haven't played for a long time, it's very unlikely a new player is going to show up and box all the characters. It probably happens, but that's the exception, not the rule. So throughout the year, oh, hang on a minute. My computer went on screensaver mode. Porting more Windows to the new UI engine. So it sounds like they're going to do the UI engine in pieces. And then zone performance improvements. Okay. And then release date to be determined in 2023 will be the Guild Trade Skill Depot. So they came out with a Trade Skill Depot for Night of Shadows. You can put all your trade skill stuff in a little inventory thing, and you can like use stuff. It's like apparently pretty convenient. I haven't used it, but they're gonna have a guild version of that, so that's cool. So, anyways, that's everything they're gonna do, and I hope this was interesting and informative. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.